Well, to start with, just profound gratitude for what everyone shared, for the people you are, and what you do in the world. And I sense in all the people on this that part of what we do is have a deep commitment to our quality of being and to let our doing flow from our being. Um, Really rich soup we created. If we just leave that on the stove and let it cook and add to it over time, and I think that's part of the gift and the genius of community. From the description, Len, you gave of the gathering in Reading of listening, that was one of the themes that wove through people's comments. Listening, light was another. Uh, and I think I've said for probably 35 years, really all the theology I feel I need is contained in a little song that starts, "This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine." If we could all embrace that, and both the little, the light, and shine, we end up with a firmament of light on this planet that I think would encompass not just the human light, but the light from the overwhelming part of the world, which is not human. So emptiness, Susan, I really resonate with that. I think we need to find time to just empty out everything. To me, that is a foundation of good listening, is emptiness. The notion of seeking the common good, seeking that which binds us together as the core of community, to me is really, really important. Committing to be a voice, which I think starts with being a listener for inclusiveness. Is everyone, does everyone have the space to participate? Terry, I really love that. I think we're all committed to having all the voices we can have in the conversation. So just so much richness in this. And maybe I would offer a few parting observations beyond that. One, it occurred to me as you all were talking that I led a conversation at the school my wife leads right before Thanksgiving about how we can engage productively in conversation with other people, often the family we might be gathering with over Thanksgiving, recognizing that may be a pretty fractious group. As part of that, I put together a lot of resources that might be helpful to folks. REA, if you think it would be helpful, if others do, I would be happy to send that to you and you could share it. It's far from exhaustive. It was created with this particular community in mind, but that might be another stone for Stone Soup, and other people could add to and enrich it.
And I'll be happy to share it with this group. Yeah.
Great. Another thing that is important for me is to really try to take the long view. It's so easy to get caught in this moment. And yet there are, that's all history is a series of this moment and this moment and this moment. And when I find the long view of a decade or even a century not being long enough to help me right now, I try to step back to the beginning of the beginning of the beginning and realize that, boy, this venture that we're a part of is so much vaster, so much more mysterious and magnificent than we can even begin to imagine. I take refuge in that perspective, not as a way to escape my responsibility in the moment, but to realize I don't need to get buried under a sort of spiritual arrogance that somehow I should be able to do what hasn't been accomplished in really billions of years. So contribute from a long perspective with the humility that brings. And then two quotes to finish. One, Howard Thurman, who in the spirit of deep ecumenism founded the first interfaith, intercultural church in the United States, the Church of the Fellowship of All People, said, "Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive. What the world needs is people who are alive." The answer is different for each one of us. We don't need to adopt someone else's answer to that. We, I think, are given the joy and challenge of this life to discover our answer to it. And then finally, and I shared this quote with REI when we talked ahead of this. This is a quote that has been really helpful in guiding the work Catalyst is doing to help support women's leadership. I found it in a book of Alice Walker's poetry called Absolute Faith in the Goodness of the Earth. And it happens to be a quote from Clarissa Pinkola Estes. I think we're all probably really familiar and don't even think much about the notion of the fatherland. That's been a term of art that's been used to talk about a country. It's the fatherland. Well, this is a quote about the motherland. Let's admit it. We women are building a motherland, each with her own plot of soil, eked from a night of dreams, a day of work. We are spreading this soil in larger and larger circles, slowly, slowly. One day it will be a continuous land, a resurrected land come back from the dead. Mundo de la Madre, psychic mother world, coexisting and co-equal with all other worlds. This world is being made from our lives, our cries, our laughter, our bones. It is a world worth making, a world worth living in, a world in which there is a prevailing and decent wild sanity.
Beautiful. Thank you, Charles. What a great concluding place. As I was listening to your reflections about the long view and about how important that is, it's, this is not just about 2018 or 2020. This is about our children and our grandchildren and what we're leaving for them. I'm thinking of a teaching in Jewish tradition that comes from the sayings of the fathers. We might translate as the sayings of the ancestors at this point. That it's not required of us to complete the task, but neither are we free to walk away from it. And I take that, we're here, we're doing it.
Well, and as we would say in the Abrahamic traditions, all women.
Okay. So it's time for us to bring this part of the circle to a close. I want to offer that each of us, take really brief 15 or 20 seconds. What do what's the mood? What's the feeling that you're taking with you from this conversation? I'll start, and then whoever wants to go next, just let us know. Go next. I'm taking a commitment to the long view and a sort of reinforcement that however long it takes, I'm here to do the right thing at this moment.
Here am I.
This is perfect timing for me to learn the transformation process and work with people. And as you said, not to walk away from it.
Thank you.
Thank you for a beautiful way to celebrate a day.
And I'm taking away the light and the concentration on the light and building on it.
I'm taking connectedness, feeling connected both to divine, but also to all of you and to people of spiritual goodwill. Thank you.
I'm bringing common good into the conversation, not just from my heart into my conversation.
Thank you.
To remember to keep my eye on the prize.
Wendy?
Okay, I'm taking away the long view, the reminder of working on the core, connectedness, and not to forget about the wildness.
Thank you. Usman?
Okay. Thank you, Aya, and thank you, everyone. Yes, I'm taking away that feeling of connectedness and the lights and inspiration, motivation that I got from all the people that spoke. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Usman. So,
well, do I get to say what I'm taking away?
Oh, I'm sorry, Charles. Yeah, you got to say.
Thanks. I am taking away just profound gratitude and inspiration, knowing that you are all here, that we are all here, and that we are one tiny cell of a huge organism of folks with high vision, good hearts, and a commitment. And may we find each other. I'm taking away the call to hope and to move hope into engagement. And I'm taking away a commitment to say some prayers that Susan has a spectacular final Sunday with her congregation at 5 o'clock this afternoon.
A woman.
Yeah.